Hi, this is our meeting five, I believe, for step four, evaluate solutions. I'm Martin. I'll be the head for today.
Hi, I'm Braden. I will be recording minutes.
And I am Logan, and I believe, I'm just a participant slash the timekeeper.
So for the first item on the agenda is kind of the textbook definition of what they evaluating solutions. So for step four, which is evaluating solutions, it's about looking closely at each possible solution and see how good and realistic it is. The group should think about pros and cons for each option, especially any like possible problems that can come up from those options. It's important for everyone to ask questions such as, does a solution match our goal? Can we actually do this within the time frame and with the manpower we have? Um, During this stage, a lot of it is prioritizing good thinking and listening skills during this step. For evaluating final decisions, the methods that I've seen and from what I've got from the book is voting for them, making like voting for solutions. And once we talk about more of that, make a pros and cons list, talk it out until we agree. And even looking at it, we've gone over it before, but the six hat method is another one, which will give us more option and more variety of different mindsets. Once the choice is made, Uh, it's suggested that the leader should check with everyone agrees, just to make sure there's no complications or no final thoughts. And it helps to take a break before making a final decision, just in case anything comes to mind when there's less heat and more relaxation. I just want to ask you guys like anything come up or anything that this brings to mind.
Um, no, nothing in particular for me at least. It seems like I understand kind of the top, like the basic of what it's about. Like we're just, once you've kind of gone through the prior steps, now we're just coming at it with a more of a microscope and figuring out what we finally want to do.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I got out of it. Also, I had a different interpretation before reading this chapter of evaluating the solutions. I was more on the evaluating what your outcome was rather than evaluating
Oh,
what your potential thing is. So like this definitely clarifies a lot of stuff while reading this chapter. It's it's different than what I thought it would have been.
Yeah, when I started the chapter and everything going from there, or I kind of just went the from step three is my normal mindset of generate possible solutions to basically just start implementing them to step five. Mainly four is one that I
yeah.
kind of skipped over. But evaluating solutions, I think, is good, especially in a group setting, due to a lot more of us talking about it, different mindsets, what we can actually do. So it's not like any solo decisions or you are the leader, you make the decision kind of thing.
Are we going to the next one?
I think so, unless somebody has something to add.
No.
Mhm.
All right. Yeah, just
So this scholarly article isn't exactly on the evaluate solutions. It's more of an example of what they did to evaluate solutions, and it gives multiple different ways that they did it. This article is called "How to Evaluate Solutions in Pareto-Based Search-Based Learning Software Engineering," and it says how to evaluate slash compare this non-trivial, straightforward to the plot's solutions set for an intuitive evaluation slash comparative. Yet this only works well for a bi-object and when the number of objects reaches four, it is impossible for a quantitative comparative value. Another way to evaluate the solutions is set to report their description statistical results as the best and means and median value and on objective each solution. A solution set which is evaluated better than a computer could be could be never preferred by the DM under circumstances. This is not the that wasn't the sentence. But what this article is stating is that there's multiple ways to evaluate, and you don't have to just stick with one solution. You should probably have multiple different solutions to evaluate to choose which one is going to be best for your project. And so they have evaluated three different solutions that they came up with prior to evaluating, and it's explaining which solutions are better than the others and which solutions they're going to do next and actually implement into their code, which I think is pretty good. So it doesn't exactly say anything about the actual thing, but it gives us a real life example of evaluating solutions and how many times they have to evaluate to see which one is best.
Okay, yeah, and I've experience in coding, so I know when you're making a project and evaluating like solutions, a lot of it is basing, I would say more of like 90% of the logic is having a final plan in mind and then make a solution around that.
Yep. I think all of us have experience in coding with some type of computer science background.
I believe so. So I was
I
like,
know, yeah, I got just a little bit, but
no, but I guess yeah, putting it into mind is just putting, hey, think about your final what you want to do instead of just a basic solution to the problem.
No, exactly. Bam, bam, bam. Do you have anything to say about the video?
Uh, you've kind of covered most of what she said. Like one of the bigger examples is like kind of what she goes over is I'm trying to like phrase this smaller because she just jumps from one thing to one thing. Like one thing I believe she talked about was the urgency when it comes to solutions is one of the biggest factors.
Like negatively or positively?
That's kind of the up into the interpretation. So when it comes to trying to find a solution and you have like an urgent need for a solution, it is a lot of times brought up that mistakes happen because you're like, hey, I need a solution now. So you might have a quick fix, but it can cause problems later.
Because it's probably not the best fix.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
nothing that's going to be concrete and staying forever. It's just more of a, okay, works for the moment while you might plan around it.
yeah, it's like a band-aid rather than like something that's been thought of that will like fully fix the problem.
I gotcha.
I guess another thing that would be good is during our uh, evaluating solutions, if anything becomes concrete, should we think about like I guess kind of like weirdest way of putting it was optimal timing for like changes of any plans or like the decisions or anything like that. How will we communicate any more solutions, I should say?
Sorry, could you say phrase that, or phrase, you say it one more time?
Uh, how are we gonna? I guess yeah. If I'll try to phrase it a little better, so I'm pretty bad at my wording. Uh, how should we go about figuring more solutions after implementing one? So like kind of like in the middle,
Oh,
jump to like a certain idea or
so you're
something to add on to it.
so you're saying like if we need another solution, like how should we go about like should we go through like the full process again, or should we have like
Yeah,
something a
that
little bit
or any
faster?
adjustments.
Yeah, it's a good question. Um,
I think it goes through the whole process again, just because like it might not be as long as the process, but let's say that Martin brings up another problem with the solution that we have right now for let's say our group project, and he goes, "Hey, I actually have a problem. We need to step back and look at this." And so we'll step back to like the previous step of analyzing, or even the previous step to that, as in like what is the actual problem itself. And so I believe it would pretty much go back to the beginning, but it wouldn't be a full process. It would be more of a quick process.
yeah, especially since we kind of know what we're looking for at this point, it'll just even if it is going through the process again, it'll just kind of happen a little bit quicker at this point.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it'd be more of like an actual discussion rather than going through all the steps.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I guess yeah. The only thing that would be quote unquote like change would be if there's any updates of like on the poster or anything
Hmm.
that like Braden's creating.
Yeah. Which I finally, we haven't gotten to that point yet, but I finally kind of got at least like where I'm going to be like working on the poster. Like,
Okay,
Nice.
yeah.
maybe got started a little bit.
So do we want to go to step C?
Yeah. Uh I guess yeah, kind of good transition from the poster. A lot of the ideas that we've had has gone pretty well, I believe.
Hmm.
I'm not sure how far. I mean, I know you just said that you did a little bit. How
Yeah.
far are you, Logan, on like your ideas for the paragraphs and the final report?
I'm pretty, I have the very first paragraph that last week, because I was the chair. That's my very first one. I have that rough draft out, and then I found one potential um, source, but I want to look tomorrow for more sources and see if this is actually the one that I want to use. So I'm probably, I would say, halfway done with what I need to be done.
Okay. Uh, I'm. I guess the best way to put. I'm kind of just reading through the chapters again because I know one of the biggest things is going to be. I think she wants us to use the sources pretty well in our like
Mm.
topics, especially with the samples that I look through. How much of a personal touch do you think is appropriate for this?
What do you mean by personal touch? Do you mean like,
Like putting eyes and like examples from what I was doing, like that kind of thing. Because I know this is about scholarships, helping students, like opening up the like doors for people.
Mm.
Would using examples of like what I've done before or examples of others be an appropriate thing to add, or should I try to avoid that?
no, I think that would be appropriate to add. You don't want to like overcome it with it, but because it shows that someone helping you out or giving you the right of way, and then you having a positive outcome, it will show people that it works.
And I feel like we could also like so. because it kind of feels weird with like three different people talking. We can like maybe clarify who's writing which part, or I don't know how we'd want to go about that. It doesn't really matter. I think that's okay though, as well, having personal experience in there.
Okay. I guess to phrase it on who's doing what part, um, it might be. I'm not gonna say like take all the credit because I don't want to take any credit away from Breda because he's doing the poster, so he's not doing the writing. Uh,
I think it might just be easier if everybody just said I instead of personalizing it, because if you personalize it with your physical name,
Oh yeah.
then it would probably be, I'm not going to say blocky, but you would definitely know each person wrote each paragraph.
Hmm.
So if you just generalized it with just I, they wouldn't necessarily be able to decipher who wrote what.
Oh yeah. True.
okay. I guess another option is once we get all of our sections put, we can just upload our paper or have something like it, download a separate copy, and just rework it and then talk from there.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Do we want to create like a Google Drive or anything, or do you guys have any preferences, like bringing the paper together,
I don't
Um,
really have any preferences.
I yeah, don't really have a preference. Once I get my
or Google Docs?
paragraph,
Sorry.
I mean, whichever one works. I can always just put my paper in the drive
Hmm.
and then just go from there. Because I wouldn't combine my paragraphs until I know I'm for sure done and feel like that's a complete work.
Yeah.
Hmm. Anything else that we can think of on like rough draft ideas or anything like that? Like what links we might need to give you, Braden?
Uh, I mean, if you guys just want to, you guys can give me whatever links whenever you feel like it's ready, because I feel like the links that I put in will be kind of be, I'll just kind of be plopping in, and then design or other things outside of that kind of be made in there like separately. So no, I don't, you don't really need to send me anything yet. I don't like, when do we need to have the poster ready? That's actually a good
The
question.
poster, like finished final copy, I believe is the 16th, like the very last day of class.
Okay, so I mean, and then I'll definitely send you guys something before that. And I know we were doing like the paper. We were going to do like a rough draft of the paper like a week before. Maybe I'll that same week I'll send you like a rough idea of what the poster is. So as long as I get links and stuff from you guys by like a week before, we should be okay.
Yeah, I think that we said that we wanted a rough draft by like the 10th,
Yeah.
and I think that's the end of next week.
Yeah. Sounds good. So if we all just have our links by then, that'd be good. I was also curious about our links. Do we want to do like general websites, or like a lot of them are like have upcoming deadlines? Do we want to do stuff for like the upcoming fall? Like, or
So the one that I found, it's like a regenerating, it's each year. Yeah, you have to apply for it at a specific time,
yeah.
but it's like a regenerative. It happens every single year.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, stuff like that would be good. I just was like looking through a lot of them, and they were just like deadline coming up, and I was like, okay, that kind of
Yeah,
could be kind of weird if.
most deadlines for almost all scholarships are coming up for the next year, but most scholarships that at least that I have seen happen, it's the same exact scholarship, but they happen every single year. And
Okay.
so it would potentially be the same because the one that I'm on is just a very, I'm not going to say generalized website, but it's their website. And so it's going to bring you back to the same exact website every single year.
Okay. Cool. Good to know.
Yeah, for the links that I was gonna send, I was thinking about just doing either foundations that I find that do like the normal like they'll do student scholarships because I know there's some foundations that specialize in it, or
Hmm.
just other general websites that have scholarship opportunities. Just so I'll try to avoid most deadlines, so I can do that part at least.
Yeah, see, I'm kind of looking for like very specialized scholarship things. I'm looking for
Mm.
like lower income scholarships that are like predominantly only for that have low income. And then I'm also looking for another one that's like specialized in um like past criminal records and like felons to help them get into school and rebuild their life. So like I'm trying to like look for specialized ones and like I also do know that there's STEM scholarships specialized just for STEM students.
Hmm.
So those are the type of scholarships that I'm looking for.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I wasn't sure if we. That's a good point to bring up. I wasn't sure if we wanted to do more specialized stuff like that because you see some that are like dedicated to certain groups, or if we wanted to do one for like a wider group of people. I wasn't sure if we were trying to like point in which direction, which I'm cool with going towards more specialized people.
I think you could really realistically do it whichever way floats your own boat. Like I
Yeah.
wanted to do this because I feel that those two cases are the most needed people.
Yeah. Mm, that makes sense to me for
But everybody needs scholarships, and so just generalized for the whole entire public was perfectly fine also. Like everybody needs scholarships.
Well,
sure.
one option we could do is just do like columns. One
Yeah.
side is the general, one side is maybe some like more specifics. Like you're saying, like you want to find some that are like year round or for the year, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So if you find something like that, that probably be pretty good. Or if you just have like a basic template for the poster that you can do like two copies per se, one for like the
Oh,
general,
true.
one for like specifics.
Yeah, that's totally true.
Because yeah, no, Logan brings up a good point. The people that especially need it is probably kind of what we're going for.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the type of people I would personally want to bring it more awareness to. I just wasn't sure where we were going if we were doing a more general thing, but I like that idea.
And, I guess we kind of already slightly transitioned into it. For the next item on the agenda, the plan of action for the project. Um, for
What
my
do you
part,
mean? What do you mean by project map?
I kind of just used it somewhat of a here's the first step arrow to like a box that says like first step arrow next to the next box. I kind of just that's just what I imagine in my head, kind of like a flow chart, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um, Project map was just kind of what I'm gonna create kind of a flow chart myself for. Hey, do this thing first, transition to this thing, transition to this thing, just to organize my work better.
Mhm.
Because like I guess yeah, the first part I'm gonna do is I think write my paper and then transition over to helping you with some links and maybe some ideas that I find for the scholarship opportunities.
I'm kind of doing mine simultaneously because I'm not able to do my second paragraph yet because it's the very last group.
Yeah.
But it is nice to look at it as like which section are you doing first, mapping wise. It'll give us a more clear picture of what we actually need to do next.
Yeah, I think I'm also kind of simultaneously because at least for me, part of it is like I like working on certain things at certain times. So it's like sometimes I'm more in a writing mood, sometimes I do the other things.
Understandable.
But yeah. And then also, how do we don't have to figure this out quite right away, but like, how do we want to take them around the campus? Or like, where do we want to put the posters exactly?
For the printing off the posters, it might be good for us to team up with some sort of like financial advisor or somebody that can make the print offs pretty easily.
Yeah.
Because they probably have, I haven't quite looked around, but they probably have specific locations. Like I know the basic plastic chair they have in front of the financial office. They put a lot of the hey, this event's going on. Hey, here's some news, that kind of thing on there.
Hmm.
I can also, I'm going to actual campus on Thursday for class.
Mm.
And I can go to the advising center and talk to them because we might actually need permission to hang stuff up.
Oh yeah.
And so I will, and like I'm almost guaranteed that they're going to say yes because it's a good idea and it helps people. But we might, I'm going to ask them if there's any type of paperwork that we need to fill out, or if we can just hang them wherever we want, or if we can only hang them in specific spots. And so I'll tell you guys what they tell me Thursday afternoon on Slack.
Cool. That's
Yeah,
great
cool.
to know.
Actually, while you're there, if you can either ask them or if you see some posters, we can try to use those as a base for either design or what things are already done. So,
Yeah,
like, how
sure.
can we add to what's already there? Because I know
Hmm.
Clark should have some stuff up already, but
Yeah, I'll take a handful of pictures of whatever they have up hanging out.
Cool. Yeah, that would be great to see. I'm already like kind of been looking at like poster ideas for inspiration, but the more the merrier, kind of
yeah.
can I help me get to a jumping off point.
Yeah,
Another thing is if we have a digital poster, we can probably even hand it to current professors and see, like, hey, if you have students that might be looking at stuff, send them this on like orientation week, just in case they need to know anything.
Yeah.
true. So
Oh.
do we want to meet again? Because I'm assuming that the it's almost over. I'm just guessing
I think we're hitting close to the 30-minute mark right now.
because it should say it in your top corner, top right corner, Martin.
Mine's just showing recording. I'm not seeing any numbers though.
Really? That's weird.
Yeah, but I know we started around 9:30.
Yeah, it was
Um,
like three. It says 10 minutes left.
I was gonna say I just got hit with the timer too.
So I don't. This is
But
usually. Do we have 10 minutes? I thought we started recording at like 9:34.
we're about like yeah, like 25 to 30-minute mark. Because I know it gives us 30 minutes of average thing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Uh, I guess the biggest thing is how like evaluating the solution here. How possible is all this with everybody's schedules and time frames? Like any troubles, anybody gonna have anything that might come up?
Um, so I will be able to do all my work. I am gonna be out of town, kind of t close to the. So I'll be back. Okay, I'm gone for a while, and I'll be back on the 14th. So I can be there physically putting posters up the 14th, 15th, and 16th. I know like that's kind of like the last few days, but uh so every but like the week before I will not be around. So everything else I will be doing like on the internet or like nothing else to be able to be like physical stuff.
And I don't think that we'll be even ready to hang them up until you're really back, anyways, because
Yeah.
that's kind of when we want to finalize everything. So that'd be
Yeah.
perfectly fine.
That's kind of what I was thinking, but I just wanted to let you guys know like I won't be able to actually like help you do that stuff until like the 14th.
Yeah, plus I guess with hanging them up, she might want like a photo of two. Hey, we have one up. Here's us hanging it. Because I did see
Yeah.
that in some of the samples as well.
But other than that, everything should be good for me. I should be able to get everything done.
But yeah, we could just plan to hang the actual posters up on finals week, which is roughly the 14th through the 17th.
So yeah.
You guys want to talk about next meeting just to clarify everything real quick before, because we got roughly 6 minutes left.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be the chair because I'm writing that last section.
Chair Logan.
who's out of you two, who's going to be recording the minutes?
Hmm. I'm doing it right now. I'd be cool with doing it again. I could go either way though. Martin, do you have a preference?
I mean, I think it's only fair that I do it since you're doing it this week. We'll just keep it to that,
Okay,
and I can just do it for next week.
sounds good.
I'll make sure that I get it to you guys a lot faster. Sorry, I just had stuff come up, so I was out and about for a few days.
Yeah, you're all good, man.
Yeah, it's fine. I still got it in.
And then so that probably means I'll be doing like the scholarly source would be my guess, since I'll be like the
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I will be doing the textbook source, the textbook definition.
Okay, gotcha. And then date and time.
Do we want to shoot for Monday, same at 9 o'clock again, or do we? I don't know my days off. I can look if you want to shoot for an earlier time. I think it's probably going to be Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, because I was gonna say it
Uh,
really depends if we want to do midday instead of later at night.
I'll at least on these minutes I'll write down uh Monday 9 p.m. for now, and then if you get your schedule and want to change it, I'm totally
Oh,
cool with that.
I know my schedule. I'm just looking it up right now on my phone.
Oh,
I'll know it in the next like 30 seconds.
okay.
Bam.
Should I keep recording or should I stop it here?
I would just keep
Um,
recording because I think that if you, we need 30 minutes of recording time.
Okay.
and we're talking about the
All
next
right.
meeting, so this is all part of it.
Yeah, I have Tuesday, Wednesday off.
Tuesday, Wednesday. Cool.
Yeah, I was like, I'm available after 2 on those days. Or anytime after 2, I don't think I have anything going on.
Cool. I'd be down to do Tuesday or Wednesday during the day.
All right,
You
yeah, let's shoot
guys,
for Tuesday at like 4 p.m. then.
Tuesday, 4 p.m.
That should work.
And that
Um,
is Tuesday the
Think that was the third? Yeah, Tuesday's the third.
Okay, I'm gonna double check one. I can't do it at the moment, but I'm gonna double check one thing on my schedule, and I think it should be good. But I'll get back to you tomorrow on Slack.
Yeah, any time for Tuesday, Wednesday works for me. I can work it in on any of those days. And it sounds like Martin can also anything after 2 o'clock.
There's just maybe one thing I have next week, but other than that, we should be totally.
That's fine.
and then since we're done with our, I guess, weekly meetings after that,
What was next? Oh yeah, next week is the last one.
I guess, yeah, do you want to just keep most of the Slack communication to Slack?
Yeah,
Like a
we'll
lot of
just
the,
keep communicating through Slack, and if anybody has any problems or anything like that, we can just keep talking like that. And then if we actually do want to meet up, we can schedule another meeting afterwards,
Cool.
after next week.
Yeah, yeah. If
So
we
I'm
need to
cool.
talk, we can get on Zoom for a second.
Exactly.
all right, sounds good.
It just doesn't need to be recorded and turned in anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I saw something about like a Slack, like get out of here. What is it? Like it had like a trial. Is
Uh,
there some
for
sort
what
of
for what we're doing, we don't. It's not going to affect us.
okay.
The free, like the paid source of it,
Yeah.
it just gives you more things that you're able to do. But what we are doing,
Oh,
just communicating how we are, we
okay, cool.
we should still be able to use it perfectly fine.
Gotcha. I just wanted to double check that because I know I saw that at one point, and then I was like, oh, okay, I'll think about that as it gets closer. But then I forgot about it.
No, even in most classes, I've never had a professor tell me, yeah, buy it. Most of them tell you, yeah, avoid it. It's not needed,
Oh
especially
yeah,
if they're just
I
messing with
wouldn't buy it.
everything.
I just wanted to make sure that like some sort of trial thing didn't end, and then we didn't communicate and then we like missed something. And we're back to Canvas and its horrible messaging system.
Like it's not terrible, but like
Dude,
I,
I kept trying to hit reply all like a billion times, and I would like just single message somebody like, God,
oh, that
I
sucks.
didn't mean to do that.
See, like my
That,
big thing is I don't go on Canvas on my phone and I don't carry around my laptop. It's at my house.
oh yeah.
And so like I'll get an email from somebody like on my phone, but I can't reply. I'm like,
Oh
well, I
yeah.
guess I'm going to reply in 6 hours when I get home. Like
Yeah.
so like that's my issue with Canvas is I can't reply to people until I get back home, which sucks.
Yeah. I have the Canvas like mobile app. It's kind of garbage, but it's helpful for things like that.
No. I honestly didn't even know that there was a mobile app because I don't go. I've never even attempted to go on Canvas on my phone.
I think like one time I was like away from my computer and I like had to do like a